Hey, it's Danny. I'm finally here to give you the update video that I talked about. I had trouble finding the motivation to make this video for several reasons. One of them is because it is an overwhelming amount of information that I'm going to be covering, but that I'm going to try to condense so that it's not too too insane, and too long. And really, I don't need to get into the details of everything. This is more vague, I guess. But also, a lot of it is sensitive information for me. And that's not to say that I don't want to share this with you. I do. I've always considered myself an open book. I think it's important to be. Especially when you've been through a lot. It helps people to know that they're not so alone. So hopefully it's something that you guys actually will enjoy hearing. Even though a lot of this is not enjoyable. I hope it gives you the answer that you've been looking for about where I've been and why I haven't been making videos as much. Before I get started, I would like to throw a couple disclaimers out there. One is, like I said, there's a lot of sensitive information in this video. So if you're triggered by any of the following topics, please get out of here now. I will be talking about divorce and relationship trauma. And I will be talking about suicidal ideation. And I will also be talking about health problems. So if any of those things are disturbing to you or triggering, please leave. Second disclaimer is, this one's pretty obvious. This is not ASMR. I know I'm posting it on my ASMR channel, but this is not for relaxation purposes at all. This is just an update to tell you where I've been. So my setup is very crude. I've got a blanket behind me, I'm recording on my phone, and I don't have any microphone set up. So yeah. And also, I'm so uncomfortable being on camera. I just don't like it. That's why I do a lot of gaming videos, is because I can not have to worry about what I look like or how people perceive me. Anyway, I hope you guys can look past all that and just hear me. So, about the middle of last year, I started going through some pretty big life changes, kind of shifting internally. And I started questioning a lot of life decisions and where I was at in life. And to make a very long story short, at least at this part, I ended up initiating a divorce. And I'm not going to go into the details of that, to protect myself, to protect him, and also because it's not completely over yet. And I just don't feel that it's necessary for me to go into all of that. Divorces are never fun. So that should give you the information that you need to know about that. It sucked, because divorces suck. Yeah, no matter who's going through, they suck. My husband and I separated last year, and it, it became a very isolated, vulnerable, and depressing time for me. I felt like I didn't really have anyone. Part of the reason for that is a community that I've been a part of for a long time that I no longer am. And I don't want to go into all that either, because I don't feel the need to badmouth. So I'm not going to. but it left me without the support of friends. And I also am not very close to a lot of the members of my family. So I didn't have a whole lot of support. And I mean, that's fine. And that was understandable. Everybody's going through their own stuff. But I can also be bad at asking for help. And I was, and during that time too, there was somebody who I got close to that ended up preying on my vulnerability. And I won't go into that either. Just know that I was not treated the way that anybody should be treated, especially somebody who was in a position that I was in. And it was not good. I don't speak to that person anymore. But throughout that friendship, relationship, I don't even know what I would call it, my mental and emotional health was spiraling out of control. Like I said, I felt very depressed and very isolated, and like I didn't have the support that I needed, and I started wondering why I was here. What was the point of me being here? So I became very, very suicidal. And it wasn't just thoughts, like, what if I did? It was, I have a plan in place, and I'm writing notes to people in my life. Goodbye notes. I knew that if I didn't reach out for help, that I would be gone. So I have a very, very dear friend who lives in a different state who I asked to come stay with me and babysit me, basically, because I didn't trust myself. I didn't think that I would be okay if I was alone. And I was really afraid. But I am so glad that I reached out to this friend and that they were willing to basically uproot their life in their state to come stay with me for about 2 months. They stayed on my couch for 2 months, and they were awesome for me, and frankly I wouldn't be here without them. So you know who you are. Thank you. In amongst all this, that relationship, friendship, whatever, bad person that came into my life, I ended up saying goodbye to them. And it was the best thing that I could have done for myself. I'm really glad that I did it. Also, during this time, and when my friend was staying with me, I ended up getting ketamine treatments because they're used to help people who have depression and suicidal ideations. And that did help a lot. And then I also started seeing a counselor who even dropped their price for me so that I could continue going. And they were a huge help. So I started feeling better. And I ended up sending my friend back home. I let them know that I was okay. It was really hard because I'd gotten used to it, and I knew that I would be in an empty house without them. And that really scared me. But I figured it was time that I move on, because I couldn't have them stay with me forever. So they went home the beginning of this year, like really, really early on. And I was doing okay. I was obviously still sad A lot of the things that I had gone through, I needed to grieve, and frankly, in a lot of ways I still am. The things that happened aren't things you just get over easily. So, it just continued to get a little easier, but it was still scary, I guess. But it was nice to be on my own and starting to figure out what I was going to do and how I was going to move forward. Shortly after my friend went home, I had somebody from my past reach out to me to see how me and my husband were doing. And I told him that I had separated from my husband and we were getting a divorce, and how my life had just kind of been turned upside down. And yeah, and he had been through quite a bit in the past 10 years or so since I had talked to him. And we made plans to get together and catch up and see how we'd been and just hang out. And we hung out one time and have been inseparable ever since. This man is Skyler. He is my boyfriend. And he has felt like such a blessing to me. I tend to be a dark and serious person, more so. And he is the opposite of that. He is fun and he's funny. He's responsible, but he plays. He's so playful and just youthful. And he helps me see the brighter and more positive things. And I am so appreciative of him. He has been amazing. And I can't imagine my life without him. He has helped me through so much. And he's been there for me. And I feel like this relationship is one that I have always wanted. So Skyler and we had a very similar background with how we grew up. And we actually were interested in each other as teenagers. And that didn't work out because a lot of times teenage crushes don't. So we got the second chance and we're both really happy. And we both expressed this is a relationship that we didn't think that we'd have, and that we're so grateful that we do. And we kind of can't believe that it's ours. So we've been in this happy little bubble for a while. And I of course was so grateful that he was around because he's what I needed. Like I said, I can be pretty serious, and that kind of goes into my name change for this channel that I recently did, which I'll cover later. But I am beyond appreciative and grateful for him and how he is anyway, but especially now. Because man, I have been going through it. So, early this summer, I started developing a pain on the right side of my neck, and it felt like a sore throat, but different. I knew something was wrong. So I contacted my ENT. I had him because he had taken my tonsils out years and years ago. So I called his office and I was seen by his nurse practitioner. There's this whole ordeal. I never saw this doctor at all. Never spoke to him. I went through his nurse practitioner every time. Or medical assistant. Whatever she was. I don't know. So I met with her. I told her my concerns. and she did like a routine exam on me. She stuck a scope, like a camera, up my nose and down my throat. She's like, everything looks normal to me. I don't see anything. Could be postnasal drip. You know, just naming off like things that I was pretty sure it wasn't. She's like, well, if it still hurts, or if it gets worse, if it still hurts, if you're experiencing the same thing in a month, come back. So a month later, I scheduled another appointment, and I was like, this isn't going away. In fact, it feels worse. I feel a lot of pressure in my neck. It's not like I couldn't breathe or I couldn't swallow, but it was uncomfortable. Like, and it wasn't even like it would really let up. Like, it was a constant sensation and pain. So she said, let's get a CT scan done. And I said, great. Should have done that a month ago, but sure, we'll do it now. I went and got that done, and on it, they found that I have a nodule on my thyroid. And they called it hypoechoic, which, if I'm not mistaken, means that it's solid. So I guess that is a worrisome trait. And they were like, we suspect it might be cancer. We would like to do a fine needle aspiration, which is, it's a whole ordeal. So I scheduled that, and while I was waiting to get that done, I spoke with my general practitioner because I was also having headaches pretty bad, and I told him that, and he said, well, then let's get an MRI done. So I got the MRI done, and they found a pituitary microadenoma. So I have it's a microadenoma, so a pretty small tumor on my pituitary gland. And honestly, as awful as being told all this stuff was, it was also really validating, because I had said for years I thought I had a pituitary tumor because I was suffering with a lot of unexplained health problems. And then I always suspected something was wrong with my thyroid. I have always thought those two things, and I never got the treatment for it until now. And I really wish it was something I had paid attention to and listened to my body about. And I also wish that I had had people around me that would have encouraged me to get it looked at too, because I didn't really have that. I'm stressed because I got told I have 2 different tumors. One of them, the one on my thyroid, might be cancer. So yes, the fine needle aspiration. It's basically a biopsy with hollow needles, and they call it fine needle. It didn't feel fine to me. They felt pretty big, and it was a very uncomfortable procedure where I got like 6 different needles put into my neck, 2 for numbing, and then 4 different biopsy needles, where they sucked out, enough of a tissue sample for them to see the cells. So had that done. It was awful, and I really hope I never have to have it done again. And I hope any of you watching don't ever have to go through it, because it was hell. So I got told that would take quite a while to get the results back on that. And so I just waited and waited. And while I was waiting, Skyler and I got some pretty big news. I'm pregnant, and as of now, I'm about 15 weeks, so I'm barely into my 2nd trimester, and this baby, it has caused an uproar in myself because I am so happy. I'm so happy for this baby. And I already love it to pieces. But with all the health problems I've had, it made me wonder how that's going to be for me, how it's going to be for the baby, how that'll be for Skyler. I mean, as you can imagine, adding a baby to all this was huge. So, find that out, and I start doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? I cut out alcohol, all the bad stuff. I get on prenatals. I schedule an appointment with my obstetrician, and I'm being as proactive as possible because with all the health problems that I have, I want to stay on top of this as much as possible and be as healthy as I can be for me, myself, and the baby. And the OB that I had, she's not great. I haven't really liked her. I've gone to her for years. And so I've been shopping around for a new one, and I found one. She's awesome. But she didn't really know what to do, and a lot of my health problems that she found in the past, it had slipped through the cracks. And so I was not treated very well by her, and I thought, this is not the kind of doctor that I want to have right now. It's pretty crucial that I have a good one. So I found a different one. And then I also got referred to maternal fetal medicine specialists because they deal with some of this more high risk stuff. They haven't really called me high risk at any point, which is comforting, but considering everything that's been going on, they do want to monitor. So anyway, I get a referral for that, and I am waiting for the results of the biopsy. And when I get those, I'm told that I have I believe it's called an MRAS mutation, which has a 75% chance of being cancer. So I thought it was weird that I couldn't get a definitive answer on that, that I go through a really barbaric procedure and they still can't tell me what it is. So obviously that sends me into quite a bit of an upset, as I'm sure it would anybody. Because I'm thinking, great, I likely have cancer while I'm pregnant. And the frustrating thing is that everybody says, like, it's the good cancer. And I would argue that there is no cancer that's a good cancer, because cancer is cancer and it sucks. Granted, I wasn't given some horrible prognosis, but it scared me horribly. It was terrifying. So, I decided that I would be even more proactive, and I found an endocrinologist, so somebody that deals with hormones, to help me, to get their opinion, to see what she thought would be best. And she's amazing. She's been an awesome, awesome doctor. So, I went to her, told her everything that was going on. She's dealt with a lot of pregnant women that have had the same things that I have. She gave me great news about the pituitary tumor. She said it's pretty small, and normally doctors will not touch anybody with a tumor as small as mine. I believe it's 3 millimeters big or small. And anything under 10 millimeters is considered a microadenoma. Something they won't do or something they won't operate on, something they won't get rid of, purely because it has a higher risk of damaging the pituitary gland, which will put you on tons of medication for the rest of your life. And I was like, great, I don't want that, and I don't even want to have to worry about it. So now I don't have to. it's just something that the doctors are going to be monitoring for the rest of my life. And if and when I need that surgery to get it removed, I will. And then as far as the thyroid nodule, she wants to monitor it. Same thing. But she also wanted to get different labs for me to see if my levels are normal, which they were. When I went to my first OB, they looked fine. All my thyroid hormones were normal. But she was like, well, I would like to rerun those labs. She did. And she found that I was hyperthyroid, which I had been feeling the effects of that. And she was saying it could be because of the nodule. It could be because I'm pregnant. It could be from really anything. She didn't know why. It wasn't high enough, like my levels weren't high enough to warrant any major, forget my pregnancy brain, any major, like interaction from the doctors as far as, like medication goes. So that's just been something that's been monitored. But I will tell you that the first trimester of pregnancy was horrible. I felt like I was fighting for my life every day. I felt so sick, nauseous, dizzy, tired, and then the symptoms that I was having from the hyperthyroidism, it's like that got worse too. So I'm trying to enjoy the pregnancy as much as I can, but then I've got all these other things going on, and it was really difficult to enjoy that first trimester of pregnancy, which was really sad because this is supposed to be a happy time, and I had a lot of people who were happy about it. And Skyler too. He has always wanted to be a dad, so he is so excited for this baby. And I'm glad that he has been, because I feel like I can't be all the time. Anyway, I met with my new OB, who was awesome, who got me in with one of the best ENTs in the state, who deals specifically with surgery for oncology, so cancer, and then also he has operated on pregnant women. So he gave me an exam, and he echoed a lot of what maternal fetal medicine had told me, which was between 18 and 20 weeks, I should be good to get surgery. So I actually ended up scheduling an appointment to have the thyroid part, like the partial thyroidectomy, to cut out the part that's affected, which has been really scary. But I was like, well, if it's cancer, you know, and they can't give me 100% until they do a biopsy of the affected part of the thyroid. So I was like, well, I should just get it done. And so I scheduled an appointment for the 31st of this month. But then I met with my endocrinologist again, who at that point I had transitioned into my second trimester, and let me tell you, oh my God, I feel so much better. I'm not 100% every day, and I'm experiencing some sort of pain every day, but it eased up quite a bit. So I'm enjoying this pregnancy a lot more. I'm feeling better, and I feel like I can actually enjoy the fun aspects about being pregnant, like my little baby bump and all that, and getting excited to find out the gender, and you plan baby showers, all that. So I met with my endocrinologist, who took a look at my blood work again, and who said that my thyroid levels weren't necessarily getting better, but they were finally starting to level out. And I took that as a win, because just with everything that's been going on, I've been expecting bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. And I've been terrified of that. So I was so excited when she told me that, and when she was like, I still wouldn't recommend getting on medication. She's like, now I know you met with your ENT who suggested that you get the surgery between your 18 and 20 weeks. She's like, and that's fine, but she's like, I will be honest with you, that's a little bit out of the guidelines. So I asked her to explain further, and she said, well, we've done follow-up ultrasounds on you, and it doesn't look like your nodule is growing. It's not changing, and all your lymph nodes look normal and don't seem to be affected. Because I guess that's a huge deal, is if your lymph nodes get infected, or not infected, if your lymph nodes are affected by the cancer or spread, or the cancer spreads to your lymph nodes. So she said everything looks okay, considering. And I don't recommend being aggressive if this tumor is not being aggressive. And that was a huge weight off my shoulders. Huge weight. So I meet with her again in a couple weeks to do another ultrasound, and just to make sure that everything is still the same. And if it is, then I will be canceling my surgery to get a partial thyroidectomy, and I will worry about that after the baby's born, because I would rather it just be me going under. And I know Skyler would too. I don't really look forward to having a newborn and going through surgery, but if that's what needs to happen, then that's what needs to happen, and that's just how it is. So anyway, the baby's good news, and not having the surgery yet is good news. But this past year and a half, wow, it has been insane. And I'm trying to stay positive and take the wins where I can. And I'm trying to, eat better and take care of myself and take care of my baby. I'm really doing the best that I can. And I'm trying to take it one day at a time. And I feel confident because I have an amazing team of doctors. My OB is great. She got me into the new ENT, which I was super, super grateful for, because when I got told that I had a 75% chance of cancer with the old ENT's office, I said, okay, well, I'm pregnant. And they were kind of just like, okay, we'll see you later, which I felt so dropped, and it was terrifying. I wanted doctors who were actively involved, who were willing to communicate with my other doctors, who were willing to collaborate and help me. So I feel like I finally have that. Great OB, great ENT, great endocrinologist. And I also have maternal fetal medicine specialists who will be there to help me. So I'm due this coming spring, 2024. And yeah, I'm trying to take my wins where I can and enjoy the good and just deal with the bad as it happens. But anyway, I almost forgot, and I knew I would, because pregnancy brain is such a real thing. My name change. I came up with Little Teacup a long time ago, and it was just kind of thrown together, and it wasn't feeling like it fit for a while. and I could not think of a name. And then From the Void seemed so fitting because I have been in such a dark, sunken place. But I feel like out of that place, a lot of times comes a lot of beauty and empathy, and that's just what I'm hoping I can offer. I want to ease myself back into making videos, especially while I can. I will be honest with you, the issues going on in my neck have made my voice feel a bit more strained, and so it's been hard to want to whisper. And honestly, I haven't tried, so I don't even know how it would sound. But I'm hoping that out of this dark, scary place, I'm able to offer you all some comfort and let you know that you're not alone, so you can enjoy some whispers from the void. So yeah, that's my goal with this channel. I don't want to say goodbye to it. I genuinely love making ASMR videos, so I would like to continue doing that. I just don't know when that will be. Honestly, like I actually have an unedited video from December of last year that I haven't touched, and I'd love to, finally edit that one, get it out, and then continue. But I'm hoping that this video will help me. And I also hope that, it answered some questions for you. I didn't write this down at all. I didn't, do like bullet points, and I'm sure I got my timeline a bit messed up because I can't remember everything perfectly. And it has been such a whirlwind for me that I just hope I didn't leave out any like huge things. And I mean, maybe I'll continue to update you guys throughout, especially if there's anything major or I, for whatever reason, can't come back to this channel. I don't know. But for the time being, I am pregnant. I am happy despite everything, and I'm hopeful. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to get to them. I can't guarantee that if it's a really, really personal question that I can't guarantee that I will answer that, because some things are still mine that I want to keep to myself. I don't feel like need to be out there, but yeah, I really appreciate your guys' continued support and a lot of you asking me if I'm gonna come back and where I am. That's meant a lot to me because I kind of figured that if I just disappeared, it would be like, who cares? But I've had a lot of you reach out and see how I'm doing and if I'm coming back, and that's meant a lot to me. So I don't want to give up on this channel, and I'll do my best. So thank you all for being so supportive and kind. I think the ASMR community is one of the best, and I'm really, really happy and proud to be a part of it. So thank you guys. Hopefully I'll be whispering to you soon. Bye.